Okay, so welcome again to Reiki Healing Night for Love Relationships. Happy to see you guys all here. Happy to see you guys online. We're going to talk about how Reiki can help heal a broken heart, fill in those holes so that you're coming from a place of pure self-love, so that when you go out and attract partners, you're coming from a place of being whole and being in love with yourself first. I've found over the years that Reiki is really powerful in helping to heal a broken heart. There's techniques that we learn from at like the Reiki 2 level and above on cord cutting. How many of you guys have tried cord cutting before? Right? Yeah, very powerful. So when you cord cut, what you're doing is you're kind of setting the intention that any connections that we have to people that we love in our lives that maybe aren't that healthy, so people that might be draining you, people that are kind of needy and taking up a lot of your energy, those cords aren't that healthy for either parties, really. And so with Reiki 2, what we can do is cut those cords so that energetically you're not connected to those people anymore. Doesn't mean that you're cutting cords of love, those always remain there. But those cords that are just not serving you or serving your highest good, we can cut those and remove those going forward. Now, the key to success with cord cutting is to prevent those cords from reattaching. So when we go back to those relationships, when we allow those people back into our lives to the point where we're vulnerable, guess what? Those cords can reattach right away. One of my early clients had a very abusive relationship, and we did a lot of cord cutting. She went through separation from her husband. There was some abuse happening. We did a lot of cord cutting, and she was in a really good place, feeling really strong, feeling really confident. And the minute she would receive a text message even from her ex, boom, that cord reattached. She felt drained again. Her physical symptoms came back. So we had to work on not just cord cutting, but things that she had to do in her lifestyle to maintain those healthy boundaries so that those cords don't reattach. You don't want to invite certain people back into your life if you feel triggered by them. So like in her case, once she healed from that relationship, once she went to counseling and she felt stronger and she felt protected and she had set healthy boundaries, she could then interact with her ex again and not have those cords reattached. But it was a process. And so when you're working on yourself or when you're working on clients, you might need to cut the same cords multiple times until they can come to a place of being more whole with themselves. Questions, comments on cord cutting? No? Any experiences?
Working with you, I forget, I think on one of our one-on-ones, you cut a major cord in my back, and the moment it was gone, like, it was weird because it felt like there was a hole there.
Yeah.
But then, like, the Reiki and filling it in, like, it never reattached, which was great, but I could physically feel like, oh, something's gone there.
Yeah.
Which was super intriguing, I guess, to me. It wasn't, like, scary or anything, but, like, we're like, no, just keep working on that spot with the Reiki, and it was great.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up too, and I'm glad that you had that experience. A lot of people feel lighter for it, like they lost 10 to 20 pounds when those cords get cut. And there's also something about, there's like another secondary process to cord cutting, which is you had some hole in yourself to allow that kind of cord to attach in the first place. So think about yourselves like Swiss cheese, right? We're not full slices of cheese yet. We've got some holes and some things that we're lacking. Lack of love in our childhood, lack of love in certain areas of our life, feeling insecure, you name it, fear, anxiety, all those things can create holes within us. And so sometimes we fill those holes with things that aren't healthy for us. Drugs, alcohol, relationships that aren't the best for us. And so when you cut those cords, you also want to kind of seal that hole up with Reiki, love, and light so that Now they're a little bit more pure, wholer slice of cheese than the Swiss cheese. But it's up to them to kind of maintain that, right? If they go back to, let's say, self-loathing or self-hate, guess what? That hole's going to reoccur. So it's a process. Any other questions, comments?
I know. You used to call me a Swiss cheese all the time.
Swiss cheese.
Yes, all the time. She's like, you're not there. And it took me a while to understand what you were saying. And I do feel the difference because cord cutting, like when you did it the first time, I was like, literally, like you said, you feel lighter. Yes, that was lighter. But essentially, when I wasn't ready for relationships, and I used to always keep asking her, I'm like, do I do this? Do I do this? And she'd be like, not yet.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing, right? So by law of attraction, you attract wherever you're at vibrationally.
Right.
So if you're Swiss cheese, if you got all kinds of holes, you're going to attract somebody with the same amount of holes. And 2 holy slices of Swiss cheese don't make 1 whole slice. So the better and the more you work on yourself to fill up those holes with the good stuff, then you're going to vibrate at a higher vibration, and then you'll attract people that are equally more together, let's say. Otherwise, you're going to attract somebody that's going through similar issues, and that's sometimes can make things doubly worse for both of you. Any other comments? No? Okay, next topic. So this came to me during a client session, either today or yesterday, I can't remember, and it was enlightening and beautiful, and it's way smarter than me, so I'm going to credit the divine for this one. So think about the love relationships that you have. And they don't have to be romantic. They could be, familial love relationships, but people that you really love. The relationships that we have with others are a direct mirror to the type of relationship that we have with ourselves. I'm going to say that again. The relationships that we have externally to us, good, bad, ugly, and different, are a direct mirror to the type of relationship that we have with ourselves. So if you have, let's say, an abusive relationship, what's your internal dialogue like? If someone in your relationship is calling you stupid, ugly, this, that, and the other thing, is your internal dialogue the same thing? Do you call yourself stupid, ugly, and the other thing as well? If you have a lot of healthy, loving relationships, that usually means you've got a healthy, loving relationship with yourself. Because guess what? It starts here. Your whole external world is a mirror of your internal world. And relationships are part of that as well. So when you're looking for a better relationship, when you're looking for a way to, get to the next level, am I ready for a new relationship? First, check in with the relationship that you have with yourself. What's your internal dialogue like? Can you honestly say that you love and accept yourself 100%? If not, maybe you want to go back and do some internal work first before you start looking for someone external. Does that make sense? Yeah? Questions, comments?
What if you're just all good with yourself and you don't really feel the need for...
Great.
Right? It's all good.
You don't have to have an external relationship.
Right.
If you are, the goal is you are completely content and fulfilled within yourself. And any external relationship is just a bonus, like an extra credit bonus.
That's fair.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean you don't have to have external relationships to be completely content and satisfied. In fact, I wish most people would get to that point first before then trying to find an external relationship.
Right.
I always tell my clients, go out on dates with yourself. Figure, what do you like to do? Take yourself to a movie. Take yourself to dinner. Get to know yourself. Treat yourself well. This sounds kind of weird. Be romantic with yourself. How would you like to be wooed? How would you like to be catered to? You want someone to give you flowers? Give yourself flowers. You want someone to take you to a nice dinner and a movie? Take yourself to a nice dinner and a movie. And enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. That's how it starts. Questions? Other questions and comments? No? Okay. Body check. So this is one that's come up recently too. How many of you are questioning whether you're in the right relationship right now? Okay. How many of you are not sure if you should be looking for being in a relationship right now? Any questions about any of that? Okay. Sort of. So this is something I have in my book, and I've done it. It's kind of an NLP thing, and it's not unique to me. It's something where you can kind of check in with your body and let your body give you an answer. So let's try this exercise real quick. So close your eyes, take a deep breath. Just relax. Let your shoulders hang. Relax all the little muscles in your face. Just focus on your breath and the sound of my voice. Just relax. Try not to think about anything. Just focus on your breath. Now think of your body right now as just neutral. There's no pain, there's no rapid heartbeat, just neutral. Just relaxed, feeling safe and comfortable. Now I'm going to say a couple of statements, and after each statement, check in with your body and see if you notice any physical changes. Things to look out for are rapid heartbeat, quickening or slowing of your breath, any issues in your stomach, or any pain or twinge in any other part of your body. So the first statement is, I will remain in my current relationship for the rest of my life. Check in with your body. Notice if you see or feel a change physically. I will stay in my current relationship for the rest of my life. It's for those of you that are in a relationship that you're questioning. Now take another deep breath. Come back to your breath. Come back to neutral. Slow down your heart rate. I will leave this relationship within the next year or two. The relationship that I'm currently in, I will leave that relationship in the next year or two. Same thing, check in with your body. See if you feel any difference in your heart rate, your breath, any discomfort or pain, or if you feel neutral or at peace. Take another couple deep breaths. Now, for those of you who are not in a relationship and you're not sure if you're ready to be in a relationship, I am content in being by myself for now. I am content in being by myself, not in a relationship right now. Check in with your body. See if you see a change in heartbeat or breath, pain, or peace. Take another deep breath. Kind of come back to neutral. I am ready to be in a new relationship. I am ready to be in a new relationship. Check in with your heart, check in with your breath, check in with your body. It could be very subtle, or you might not notice any difference at all. Take another deep breath. Bring yourself back to neutral and open your eyes. Did anyone notice any differences in any of those questions? Any physical changes?
I had a twitching.
Some twitching?
The last question.
The last question.
Yeah.
Just to give you a little bit of guidance, if you have your heart rate quickens, you feel anxious or something tighten up or some physical pain, that's usually like a yellow or a red light. If you feel neutral to the point of peace, that's your green light. So any other sensations that you guys felt?
I got twitching and a little bit of pain.
Twitching and pain. Okay. And does that make sense given the question that was asked?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Jody?
On the third question, I felt like really neutral and really good. And then all of a sudden my heart hurt. So it was like 90% good. And then like I felt like a little pain in my heart, like at the end, which kind of made sense because I am like super content on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But then I have that longing for a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the fourth question, it was like just excitement. Like
Mhm.
I don't know if that my heart rate rose or not, but it felt like really clear, like yes.
Good.
So then it made sense.
That's great.
Because
And there's a different way to interpret the heart rate going up. So if it's up anxious, that's a no. But if it's up excited, that's a yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. So see how easy that is to just kind of check in with yourself. Your body knows before your mind does sometimes. And so it's good to kind of do that exercise for anything that you're kind of, on the fence about. Anything to add?
Not really. I don't know. Yeah, I think the fourth question I felt like a release, like that was a yes. That seems right to me.
Yeah. Okay, good. Did you get you didn't really have a question, but did you get an answer to anything?
I'm good.
Yeah. Awesome.
I don't really feel, I don't know, like I've thought recently, I'm like, maybe I should start dating again, but then I don't feel one way or another on it.
Great.
And like I'm very at peace with all of the questions that you asked. Like my relationship with myself I put as for the first one, and
Good.
good. And yeah, no, like I don't know, it's just good. I also think it's kind of selfish. 'Cause I'm like, I don't want to compromise.
Yeah, I mean,
Like I've compromised a lot in my time, so like I'm good with just loving this right now, myself.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm speaking truisms or if it's just fancy thought, but in a healthy relationship, I don't really think there is compromise, to be honest with you. Like thinking about my current relationship, I've been with my husband 25 years. I don't feel like I compromise anything. I don't think he has either.
That's awesome.
We just kind of like merge and we together support each other and are bigger and stronger for each other's support.
Yeah. See, I like that. Like I could deal with that.
It's possible. See, it's out there.
Like I can deal with that. But, like, there's too much work to get to that. I'm not ready to like do the work. Like I feel it'll happen.
Yeah.
And if it does, great. If it doesn't happen, then I got my cat. We cuddle all the time.
There you go. Good. So you've got some answers as far as if you're ready or not, and if you want it or not.
Yeah,
great.
Whatever. Happens, it happens.
Good.
I'm not gonna actively work against it.
Great.
As much as my ego tells me to.
And who do we? How about you, Casey? Any changes?
I feel exactly like Gina.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. Kudos to everybody who was able to sense something, and it's so refreshing to hear that so many of you are content with yourself, because that's step number one. Like, we can't talk about relationships with other people if you don't have that foundation first. You got to start with, you got to walk before you can crawl.
Yeah.
Anyone online have anything to add? No? Okay, we'll keep going. Some of the other questions that come up during a session, a Reiki session, are when people are asking about the relationship. I get that question a lot. You know, am I in the right relationship? Should I keep being in this relationship? The fact that you have to ask is very telling, number one. But number two, what I suggest to them is don't think about the history of that relationship. Like, don't think about all the baggage from the past. Don't think about all the potentials in the future. In this moment right now, and irrespective of how that other person feels or what they need from you, in this present moment right now, what is the healthiest decision you can make for yourself? What is the healthiest decision that you can make for yourself? In some cases, it's I need some space. I need to set healthier boundaries. I need to be more present in my relationship. I mean, the answers are varied depending on what the person's going through. But it's a very interesting way of looking at a relationship. A lot of people want to look at the other person and start blaming them or pointing the finger, or I'm not getting this or I'm not getting that. But wait, think about yourself. What do you need first? What is the healthiest decision you can make for yourself? And if that's a hard thing for you guys to answer, the other way to look at it is pretend that you are your own child, your own daughter, your own son in the same kind of relationship. What advice would you give your son or daughter going through the same thing that you're going through? And taking it up a notch, God forbid you're in an abusive relationship, right? If you saw your child in an abusive relationship, I guarantee you're going to be like, what are you doing? Get out of that, right? Why is it not okay for your child, but it's okay for you? So there shouldn't be two different standards for how things should be for your children that you love and yourself. Does that make sense? Okay. So another way to kind of pull yourself out and think of things from a more loving perspective for everybody involved. And, you know, a lot of times people are afraid of, I had a client today, a lot of people are afraid of leaving because they're afraid of what the other person's, what's going to happen to the other person. Like, the other person is so dependent on you that you worry about their, you know, quality of life, and are they going to do something, and blah, 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 blah. And it's a legitimate fear. What I've found over the years is that if you don't leave those kinds of relationships, that person on the other end will never grow. If they're attached to you, like we did with the cord cutting exercise, if they're attached to you like an anchor, you are supporting them and holding them up. It's not until that anchor's cut that forces them to look at their life differently and actually pick themselves up and change. So sometimes the most loving thing to do is to walk away from a relationship, right? I have a good friend of mine who about a year ago broke off a 15 plus year relationship with her boyfriend, who was just, you know, really depressed. He was an alcoholic, didn't really leave the house, he was on disability, just kind of in this dark, you know, place. And she tried everything to get him out of that. And at one point, you know, after 15 some odd years, she's like, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. And so she broke up with him. And you know, within 6 months, he got sober. He lost a lot of weight. You know, all of these major changes happened because he needed that kind of wake-up call to start working on himself. If she was still in that relationship, he would still be in that dark, deep place. So sometimes, like I said, leaving a relationship is the healthiest thing and the most loving thing you can do for both of you.
Yeah, because then you're not the enabler anymore.
Yeah.
Because you're enabling their negative attitude or behavior as well.
Yeah. Anybody have any experience dealing with something like that? Yeah.
I'm I don't know if I'm in a relationship or not. I don't know what's going on, but we've separated, I guess you can say. But it kind of ended without closure. And I think right now, because of that uncertainty, I'm hoping, like what you said, with me not being in the picture. It's been about 4 months, and talking with people, they said give it 6 months.
Yeah.
That maybe he'll realize the difference with us being together and not being together.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's good or bad, I mean, I guess we just deal with it when we realize, it's better we don't stick together, or maybe
Right.
we do come back. So I'm just kind of taking it one day at a time right now, just kind of seeing how things go.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit less stressed not being in it, because, like you said, there's a lot of negativity that drained me a lot. And so right now I'm taking the time to just kind of heal myself, try and get myself in a positive position where I can kind of start looking forward ahead with my living situation, my finances, my daughter, and if it comes back somewhere along the line, then I'll be a stronger person and kind of be better at maybe handling things next time around.
And there's nothing wrong with needing time for yourself. People think of it as potentially selfish, but it's not. Like it's like they say on the plane, you got to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can do it to your loved one. Like, you've got to get this house in order first, then you can be fully present and fully available for love relationships that you have with your daughter, with your spouse, with a potential new relationship that you might have down the road. So take this time to I know it's hard to not worry about him in this time frame that you're in, but really try to just focus on you and what your needs are. And again, if you get stuck or you feel lost, just think and ask yourself in the moment, what is the healthiest thing I can do for myself right now in this moment? It can be moment to moment, right? Especially when you're going through a separation. Any comments from online? Fred, glad you're liking this. That's awesome. Other comments? No? Okay. Okay, so we did the body check, we did the healthiest decision, we did talking about your child. A little simple, I don't think I have it with me. Real simple things to do for love relationships. Rose quartz crystals. I love them. So great for any issues of the heart. Heartache, grief, loss, resentment, forgiveness. Those rose quartz crystals are just awesome. Okay, we're going to do one more exercise, and then we're going to do a meditation, and I'm just going to show you guys. I've got some cool little heart crystals, selenite, and some wood from a sacred place in Australia that my friend gave to me. You guys can pass them around if you want. So, if there are relationships in your past, and again, they could be family relationships, they could be romantic relationships, think about anything that comes to mind first that you feel you need to heal from. Like if there's somebody in your life who you feel a little anxious when you think about that person, think about that person right now. I'm going to pass around paper and pen. So those of you at home, if you want to grab some paper and pen, pass those around. What we're going to do is we're going to write a short letter to that person.
Forgive me.
Oh,
It's Gina.
thank you. So what we're going to do is think of that person. Thanks, please. Think of that person that comes to mind, first one that comes to mind that you need to heal that love relationship with. And just take a minute and just start writing to that person. Dear so-and-so, whatever comes to mind. You made me feel like this. I wish I could have told you this. Get it all out there. No one's going to see this. We're going to burn it at the end. So everything that you feel you're holding on to, even if you don't have the words for it, you can say, I'm feeling anxious about this relationship. I'm feeling insecure. I'm feeling hurt. Put everything you want that you haven't been able to communicate effectively in this letter. If a memory comes up, you can write that down. When you did this to me, or when I said this, I really meant this, or I really wanted this. Again, it could be a sibling, a parent, or a romantic relationship. So those of you at home, if you want to write down a person's name and start writing down anything that you want to say and communicate to that person that maybe you weren't able to do previously. The act of writing and journaling is a way of getting it out of the body, so you're not holding on to it anymore. So you're releasing it from your cells and the energy in your body. So a few more minutes. Just let it all come out. Don't hold back. You're not sending negative energy to this person. All you're doing is releasing whatever you feel out from your body. A few more minutes. And it's okay if you don't finish. I'll show you what to do, and you can do this on your own. You might have other people that pop up that you like to try to do this exercise with. Go for it. Put everything down that you weren't able to say before. Either you were too emotional, or you felt the person couldn't hear you or understand you. And as you're ending your letters, have the intention of sending them your love and your peace. I release you now. I send you love. If you're not ready to forgive, that's fine. But if you feel like you need to also say something about forgiveness in your letter, go for it. Whatever feels comfortable for you. If you're comfortable sending them your love, great. If not, that'll come with time. You don't have to force it. Just put whatever emotion's coming out in the moment. Hi, Jackie. All right, so we're done with our letters. Great. Hang on to them. We're gonna burn them tonight. Later. Folks at home, if you've got a fireplace or a fire pit or a safe place to burn them at a later date, feel free to do so. Just please do it safely. If you don't have a place to burn it, that's fine. You can just send your intentions for it to be released, and you can dispose of it however you choose. And again, this is something you can come back to, right? If as you're writing, you're like, oh, what about that person? What about that person? Great. That means you got the ball rolling. Now you can keep going. How many of you feel a little bit different after writing that? Good. Do you feel like you're able to maybe release something? Okay, good. It's a powerful tool. And, you know, I've done this exercise on a computer, but it doesn't have the same oomph. There's something about, like, I think the physical act of writing that kind of exercises it out of your body. So I would encourage you guys to maybe get a journal, get like some notepads, and just start writing. It's a great, great healing tool. Okay, so let's do a quick meditation. If you guys need to use the restroom, go for it real quick. We'll come back and we'll do some cord cutting meditation, and then we'll burn our letters after that. Anybody need to make a break? No? No breaks? Okay, good. We'll keep going. Okay, so folks at home, if you want to grab a comfy spot where you won't be interrupted. You can be sitting down, you can be lying down, you can be sitting with your legs straight, or you can have your legs crossed. It really doesn't matter for this particular meditation. All right, let's close our eyes. Take a nice deep breath. And let's have our hands, palms face up, to be in the receiving mode. And if at any point you want to give yourself some Reiki, for those of you that are Reiki attuned, you can think Reiki, 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 and then you can flip your hands face down onto your thighs. Okay? But for the first part, let's start with palms up. Take a nice deep breath. Let's focus back into our bodies, letting go of any tension, any stress. If there's any emotion that came up to the surface when we were writing our letters, we're just going to release that now with our exhale. Let that leave down and out the bottom of our feet into the earth below. Knowing you're safe, you're protected, and you're so very loved. Let your shoulders relax. Let your arms hang at their sides. Relax all the little muscles in your face, including those muscles behind your eyes, your neck, your shoulders, your chest. If you feel any tension or pain anywhere, just send your breath there, and on the exhale, release. Sending that down and out the bottom of your feet. Relax your stomach, your lower back, your sacral, your hips, your thighs, your knees, your shins, your calves, your ankles, top of your feet, and the bottom of your feet. And I want you to imagine you're surrounded by a beautiful pink light filled with love and peace. Like you're in a little egg that's pink in color. And we're going to ask our angels to step forward and come close. Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Azrael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Ariel, and Archangel Jophiel to help with this exercise. I want you to focus on your heart. Bring all of your attention into your heart space. If you're stuck in your head, just imagine yourself getting into a little elevator and traveling down to the throat chakra and down, getting off at the heart chakra floor. Bring all your attention into your heart space. Now in this space, think about all of your love relationships. If there's one that comes to mind that is causing you any kind of anxiety or tension or discomfort, bring that person and that relationship into the forefront of your mind. Say whatever you feel you need to say to this person. Say whatever you feel you need to say to yourself to let go, maybe to forgive, so that you can move forward with a healthier, more loving relationship. Think about that person. And we're going to ask Archangel Michael to use his flaming sword to cut the cord that is currently attached between you and this person. And we give him permission to cut that cord, leaving any cords of love and only cutting the cords that no longer serve our highest and greatest good. Take in a deep breath. And allow Archangel Michael and the other surrounding angels to heal you, to comfort you, and to cut those cords that no longer serve you. It's okay if tears come. Allow your body to feel whatever it needs to feel. Don't hold back. Now check back in your heart space. And as you think about that person, see if you still have that same emotion or that same attachment. If you do, repeat the exercise, asking Archangel Michael to cut the cord. If you don't feel that attachment any longer, see if there's anybody else that comes to mind that you would like to heal and detach from. And follow the same exercise, asking Archangel Michael with his sword to cut that tie. Any other ties to any other relationships in your past, in your present, that are no longer serving you and no longer serving the other person. Take some nice deep breaths. And now we see Archangel Raphael coming with his beautiful green healing light and healing all of those cords that we cut, all of the loose ends that are no longer attached. He's using his green light to seal and heal and cauterize those cords so that you don't feel the need to reattach. And so that you receive the love that you need to fulfill yourself from within, so that you don't go seeking those unhealthy cords of attachment externally. We ask Archangel Raphael to heal our cords now. If there's anything else that we need the angels to help us heal, you can ask that now. Healing a grieving heart, the inability to forgive, any feeling of anger or resentment, anything you no longer want to be burdened by, ask the angels to remove it for you. Slowly come back into our bodies. We give thanks to the angels for helping us tonight and every day and every moment of our existence. We ask them to let us know of their presence, especially in those times when we're feeling lost and alone. And we ask them to intervene on our behalf for anything that might help us grow and anything that might help us for our highest and greatest good. Come back into our bodies. Come back into this room. Take some deep breaths. Feeling grateful and free and lighter as we wiggle our toes, we wiggle our fingertips. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. How's everybody feeling?
Sorry, my contact fell out.
No problem. How you feeling? How you doing?
Twitching on my left side and pain on my right side.
Mm-hmm. Some releasing, yeah. Different sensations happen when you do cord cutting. Sometimes there's twinges of pain as things get kind of yanked out. That's not uncommon. How you doing?
Good.
You're always good.
one little one flick off on my corner, on my shoulder, but
Good. Great. How about on the side of the room? Anything you want to share?
Yeah. I had a big one. Which, yeah,
Good.
I had pain in my heart. But, yeah.
Sometimes it can be like a physical twinge. Like when I was going through the exercise, I had a sharp pain in my heart as things started to get released, and I gave myself permission to let it go. It's almost like a little tug as it was pulling out, like a hook. Have you anything to add?
I just feel relaxed.
Good. How was that experience for you?
It was good. Yeah, very like subtle,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I could feel the release.
Good.
For sure.
Archangel Michael's great for cord cutting, and Archangel Raphael's great for healing those attachments, like why we attached in the first place. So it's really great to use those two angels in combination. Okay, great. Any questions from anyone thus far? Anyone online before we say goodnight?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, like, you know how you were talking about, like, if we call someone or text them like this, you know, the cord can attach and
Right.
things like this.
It can reattach, yeah. If we after we have a cord detached, if we right away reach out to that person, that cord can reattach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
Yeah, and like just like with our crazy like social media world and things like this, like I don't know. I mean, you can like look at someone's profile and you know it's hard to
Yeah.
forget people when
Yeah.
they're like always in your face. Yeah, you can block them and all this, but like I don't know. Does that kind of mess with the reattachment shenanigans stuff too?
In our modern day of always being connected to everyone all the time, it's almost impossible
Yeah.
to stay detached. Yeah. So in those cases where you really need to have a break so you can heal, I would recommend cutting off all contact. No texting, no phone calls, no social media with that person. So block them so you don't see them. If you block them, like, I don't know about the other sites, but I know on Facebook you can block somebody and you won't even see them on somebody else's like news feed.
Right.
I mean, and think of it this way: if you need it to be temporary, that's fine. Like, if you don't want to have that person out of your life completely, that's fine. Just think about like taking a break. Again, you want to get to a place where if you think of that person, you don't feel triggered, then you know you can interact with them again. But don't do it beforehand, because you're just going to reattach as you're healing from this process. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah.
I know it's hard.
It's hard because like I feel like if you block people then they're like, what? Like it's so intense too and you know. But yeah, I don't know, I guess like the total millennial in me, I'm always on Instagram and stuff. So it's like
unsubscribe
it's so
for a little
hard.
bit. I know what you mean because I have that. I have an ex who's he's always posting stuff, liking
Yeah.
stuff, liking my stuff, and I have to be at a point where I'm like,
You gotta cut it out, yeah.
yeah, I don't need that. And it was just, he would call me when he needed, otherwise he needed to either feel good about himself or he needed some help. That's when he would call me, otherwise he would not. And it was just, I'm like, I don't need that. So I blocked him off for a little bit. And then I'm like, I'm blocking everybody off. That's what I told him. And then let that be at that. And then finally, when I was ready, that it's fine and it's not gonna affect me. But I could feel like the cords attaching. Like every time he makes a phone call or just about anything, it would just be like, okay, or make a comment on my picture, and it would just be there.
And
Right,
reattach,
right,
yeah.
right.
You can, I mean, in this day and age, it's very common for people on social media to say, I need a break. Like, I'm signing off for now for a little while. And again, you can pick and choose who you want to see in your newsfeed. And, you know, in those times when you're healing, you might want to just, like, hide stuff from people that aren't posting positive, uplifting things in that time frame, too. Right? Because if you're blocking that person, but you're still have a lot of people that are, let's say, negative or posting a lot of things that are triggering you, that's going to slow down your healing process.
Well, Instagram doesn't have the kind of filters that Facebook does. So Instagram is very limited in how you block somebody. Either it's like you literally just unfollow somebody
It's like all or
and that's it,
nothing.
or
Yeah.
that's what. So I think that's where it's the difference. But that's just a way to say that I'm taking the hiatus from everybody, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's needed sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really needed sometimes. Like I did it with one of my best friends that I parted ways with, and like we didn't talk for a year, and then a year and a half, and then he messaged me and was like, hey, I miss you, I love you, whatever. But then I was like, yeah, and I said my piece about things, and then he's like, oh, you still need to heal. like maybe we shouldn't, like it's all like everything got pushed on me.
Wow.
And I said, fuck it, I'm blocking you, and I got pissed.
Yeah.
And then I like started to go back on it. It was hard. I blocked him for the last year and a half. I just recently unblocked him because just personally, whenever I thought about him and when I knew like something cosmically, we were probably thinking of each other.
Mm-hmm.
I guess is the best way to put it. Or
Yeah.
something happened, and there was that call. Like that's subsided now, and when I think about him before I unblocked him, like it was gratitude. Good. And just at peace with my feelings about the situation.
Great.
And then like, cause there's times I'm like, I just need to see your face.
Yeah.
And you gotta like not give into that. It's really freaking hard.
Yeah.
Then you want to Facebook stalk him or Instagram stalk him. That's a whole other thing on the curiosity. But
who are they seeing now? What are they doing? What are they up to?
Yeah, that's like the worst.
Yeah. But who benefits from that, and who gets damaged from that?
Yeah.
you.
Is there any benefit to that?
No. There's no benefit.
I think it's just difficult sometimes to make yourself like you're somewhere aware of the fact that the moment you see the picture or something, it's still gonna be damaging for you. But I think it's a force of habit, which sort of makes it difficult for you to.
Well, so then in those cases, I would highly recommend you full cold turkey block that person.
Yeah. I've tried that. It never works for me. Like
Tonight it will. You cut some cords tonight, so it'll be easier now. And you can also ask the angels to help you out with
right.
it. If it gets to a point where you think about that person and you've got no emotional triggers, great. But if you see that picture and you're like, oh, he's dating somebody else or whatever, you're not ready, turn it off again. I don't understand. So, okay, I'm going to get on Francie's soapbox for a second. I don't know of a case, and I could be very limited in my world belief system, in my experiences, and I am. I don't understand most cases where you maintain a relationship with your ex. I've really not seen that work out with 99 out of 100 of my clients.
It's too much history.
There's I understand if you're a co-parent and you need to interact. That's one thing, right? But I've never found two enlightened souls that are so together and comfortable with themselves that they are friends, like genuine friends after a breakup. I've got one example in my family that's like truly like that, and they're model citizens, and they're totally enlightened and beautiful and loving people. But for the most part, we're not quite there yet. So if you, again, can't come from a place of full detachment, I just see this person as another person who's a spirit being going through their journey, no judgment, no ego, no old feelings or hurt feelings or anything, cut it out. It's not healthy for you. Try to strive to get to that point where you see them as another soul that's going through their journey, no judgment, no ego, letting go of your past. But until that time, ladies and gentlemen, please do yourself a favor and just cut them out completely. It will slow down your healing process if you still remain somehow connected to someone who has hurt you. It will. And by staying connected, you're also potentially slowing down their growth. And it could be something as simple as finding a picture of you from them, or you finding a picture of them. Okay, climbing down off my soapbox. Other questions or comments? No? Okay. So we're going to say goodnight to the folks on Facebook. Hope you guys learned some things. Sending everybody light and love online. And we're going to go and do a sacred burning now. So I'd invite you guys to do that at home as well. Just do it safely. Have a good night.